Hi, welcome to the part 7 of this video series. In this part, we will look at some more questions which are linked to the case studies. This case study refers to the Litwell client. For some previous questions on this case study, please refer part 6 of this video series. Please refer parts 1 to 5 of this video series if you want to refer questions which are not linked to any case study. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. This keeps me motivated. Like I mentioned in my previous videos as well, these are all real exam questions. The chances of getting the same or similar questions in the exam is very high. Please focus on the concepts and do not mug the answers. Let's jump into the questions. Now, before you have a look at the questions, it's better to scan through the case study once. Please go through this case study once. Now, this case study has different sections like the overview, physical locations, existing environment, identity environment, etc. You may pause your video here. So in this section, we are looking at the database environment and licensing agreements along with current problems. Then we have the requirements section, followed by the technical requirements, security and compliance requirements, and so on. Please pause the video if you want to read it carefully. And here we have the business requirements. Now in this question, we are looking at, you need to implement statistics maintenance for sales SQL database. So this is your sales SQL database. And for this, we have to maintain the statistics. It says the solution must meet the technical requirements. So this is a technical requirement section. Here it says maintenance task must be automated. So this is one of the maintenance tasks, and we are getting a clue that this should be automated. And then the question says which 4 actions should be performed in sequence. So these are the options. From here we have to choose 4 options which are answers and in sequence. So since we are very much clear that automation has to be used, we will create a Azure automation account first. So let's look at this article here. This article clearly says what are the steps required. First, you create a automation account, then you import the SQL Server module, then you add credentials, then you run the runbook, add a runbook, and then you schedule the task. So this will be our answer in the sequence. We will in this set of options, we do not have an option to add credentials. So that's why we are choosing step 1, 2, 4, and 5. Since our database is related to SQL Server, that's why we have to import the SQL Server module. Then we have to create a runbook that runs PowerShell scripts, because this runbook will be scheduled after that. So once you schedule the runbook, these PowerShell scripts will execute at a particular time period and ensure that your statistics are generated. So we will log this answer and move forward to the next question. Now in this question, we have to look at the configuration for manufacturing SQL database after the migration to Azure. So this is your manufacturing SQL database, which is on server 1, server 2. This is availability group. This one is on premises, and then you have 2 VMs on which this database will migrate to. So if you see the case study, in the case study you can find this section. The manufacturing office contains two on-premises SQL Server, etc. This is what refers to the manufacturing office or manufacturing database. Now the question is asking what should you include in the recommendations. So this is a question about program mode. Let's understand what is the program mode first. Basically, quorum will decide which nodes will be used based on the votes, and you have like node majority with witness. The witness is usually a disk, and you have a node majority or a no majority. So what is the difference? So the first thing you should first go and check is the solution must meet the business requirements. Let's look at the business requirements first. So one thing that is glaringly visible is the SLA of 99.99% availability. This is something which is definitely the question wants us to meet this SLA. So if you want to meet that SLA, it's better you have all resources. So that means node majority with witness. So in the node majority, voting will be done of how many nodes will be used, and the witness, which is a disk, will also be used. So that can guarantee your high SLA. Now if you see your Azure resource, so here we have a basic load balancer, application gateway, and standard load balancer. A basic load balancer doesn't support SLA, and we already saw in the business requirements that we need a 99.99% of SLA adherence. So standard load balancer is meant for that. So now if you see this section, it clearly says basic load balancer has no SLA, and SLA is applicable to the load balancer, which is a standard load balancer. So this we should keep in mind. Now if you see what is the application gateway, it is a web traffic load balancer. Okay. Here we do not have web traffic. So this question doesn't talk about any application or web application connected to this database in the manufacturing office. So we assume there is no web traffic or any web application. That's why the answer has to be between basic load balancer and standard load balancer, and standard load balancer supports SLA, basic doesn't support. So this should be our answer. No node majority with witness for 99% SLA, and standard load balancer for 99% SLA, because basic does not support SLA. It will lock our answer, and we will move forward with the next question. Now this is the next question. So the question says, what should you do after a failover of SQL database to ensure database remains accessible? So in this diagram you have this sales SQL database, and if this fails over, that is the question. So let's look at the options. So in this case, if you see, the answer should be B, because the question doesn't mention about automatic failover, and even in the scenarios in the case study, it doesn't mention about automatic failover group. It only talks about geo-replication. So if you see the case study here, it says geo-replicated Azure database. There is no mention about automatic failover groups. So now, so first cannot be the answer, because configure SQL database as writable. It was already writable and the failover option. So again, configuring that to writable will not help you. Now the option C says update the firewall rules for sales SQL database. There are already firewall rules. If you see this, it already says that this database has firewall rules and contain database rules. So there are already some firewall rules, as well as there are already some users also. So we do not need to update this to the connection string will not automatically swap. You will have to make this change. This seems to be the most probable option, rather than updating the firewall rules and users, because the first thing you have to do is first change the connection string so that the application who was accessing this database can access it. So this application should be able to access the SQL database. So we will lock our answer and move to the next question. Now let's look at this question. So this says that you are planning to move the server 1 database. So these databases are on server 1 and you want to move this server 1. And what should you include in the migration plan? So these are the two options. First is related to the service pricing tier, and the other is related to the resource. Now if you see the pricing tier, first we should understand what are the business requirements here. So the business requirement clearly states 99.99% of availability. So if that is the case, for 99.99% SLA, premium vCore is the best, and on the Azure resource, VPN gateway is needed for this purpose. The reason for that is VPN gateway is secured and does not rely on public endpoints. So anybody from the internet or any DAM access happening, unauthorized access will be prevented. And this premium vCore supports 99.99% of SLA. Let's move to the next question. You need to implement an authentication for research database, and what should you use here? So this should be based on the security and compliance requirements. So if you see the security and compliance requirements, it clearly states here that authentication should happen via Active Directory credentials. So this is the line I'm referring to. Authenticate database users by Active Directory credentials. So via Active Directory, what will happen? Active Directory is an external provider clause. So this is correct. Now for create login windows, etc., it will not work here. See, we are not trying to access from the certificate. We are not doing certificate authentication. So this option will also not work. Asymmetric key, we are not doing anything related to the encryption keys. So this will also not work. Active Directory, for Active Directory, we always use external provider clause. Hence, option E would be the right answer. We will lock this answer, and this brings us to the fag end of this video. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. This keeps me motivated to put on some more contents. See you in the next video.